Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning to you. It is Thursday, March 14th.
Happy Pi Day, 3.14.
It sure is.
And Mike Osterhage actually knows, you know a couple of numbers, Mike. Time to show off.
No, I don't think that's showing off. Or just
You showed off earlier.
14159265, I believe.
Mark is going to check your math.
You're right.
Then 35 after that. So anyway,
I trust.
It's just, and those are the kind of things my wife says. It's not how do you know that, but why do you know that? And so just for moments like this. Anyway, it is warm and humid out there right now, 72 degrees. Dew points at 67. We are closer to our normal high, which is 73, than what the normal low was. We stayed pretty steady all morning long, and that bottom numbers actually crept up just a little bit over the past few hours. 80 for a high temperature today, so obviously on the warm side. Not in yesterday's 88 degrees, thanks to the cloud cover. We may see a peak of sunshine out there. Aquifer dropped down another 0.4 of a foot. It was a half a foot yesterday, half a foot previous day, and look at the oak. Yep, we are definitely getting into the heart of the season. It's on the high side, more than doubled what yesterday's reading was. Mold, hackberry, mulberry all went up as well. All right, take a look outside. We haven't had a lot of fog to deal with this morning. There's not anything too awfully thick out there, but it has started to show up a bit more all around the area, just because we did have a decent breeze earlier this morning. And now the wind has kind of settled a little bit. Everybody's right around averaging 60 degrees into the low 70, or averaging right around 70 degrees, pardon me. And look at these dew point temperatures. Yep, you get above 60, you feel it. And still a breeze, but not as windy. Now that southeasterly wind's going to continue to pull in all the moisture, so we may see just a little sprinkly shower here and there. And again, a peak or two of sunshine. Then the rain is going to start to fill in coverage in the overnight hours. May have a couple of storms. I think anything strong would stay up to the north tomorrow morning, but then in the afternoon, we've got a better chance to see a strong, potentially severe storm, high winds and hail in the afternoon. Front comes on through here. We're still going to have a whole bunch of rain. Actually, I think Saturday is going to be the rainiest day. And then also Sunday, we're looking at temperatures just in the upper 60s, maybe hitting 70 on Sunday. And it gets even cooler to start off next week, and we'll still keep some rain chances around here. So I think we're looking at a good kind of movie and get color crayons out for the kids kind of a weekend. So with a lot of rain. Details in just a couple of minutes.
All right, quick check of traffic here, and we've been following the latest here in the Castle Hills area because we got a bit of a mess going on here. Loop 410 eastbound at Jackson Keller, you do see that we have at least one main lane blocked here on the far left-hand side for all of our drivers coming in eastbound traffic there at Jackson Keller. Take a look at our maps, and actually this is backing up traffic all the way past the 410 I-10 interchange right there, all the way to Babcock and a little bit to Fredericksburg Road. So keep this one in mind if you're headed out Balcones Heights, Castle Hills area. Let's take you to the far northwest side because another crash been following here for about 30 minutes or so is at I-10 westbound at Fair Oaks Parkway. So if you're coming up from Ralph Fair Road all the way up to the Bernie area, you may run into this crash out there. Fortunately, we don't have any cameras in that area, so just kind of going off of what our maps are telling us at the moment. Let's kind of widen out a little bit and take one more look here at the far northwest side because there's going to be a lot of activity here. We do have a stalled vehicle being reported there, 1604 east at Bandera Road. And speaking of this area, there's going to be ongoing construction in both directions, Bandera Road from Braun all the way down to Culebra. So this will be affecting all of our traffic going into SeaWorld, the 151 area right there. So keep that one in mind. Both these parks here, SeaWorld opens at 10:30, Six Flags Texas opens at 10:30 as well. So we've seen a lot of traffic in these areas over the past few days or so because of spring break. And probably seen a lot more traffic because a lot more people staying here in the San Antonio area this week. That's because gas prices, you see right here, hitting or getting close to that dreaded $3 mark. Yesterday I put gas in at about $2.99 and was not too thrilled about that, but you do see that gas prices have gone up over the past week or so. That's because they are switching over to the summer blend, so we usually see the spike around this time of the year. All right, guys, that's a check of traffic. Mark and Sarah, back to you guys.
Thank you so much, RJ.
Here's today's 9 at 9.
The healthcare industry has been crippled after a recent cyber attack against a major healthcare firm. The hack is causing major financial headaches for the industry and comes as senior White House officials are calling on healthcare providers to get essential funds back to the health sector. That isn't the only concern for federal investigators right now. They're also looking at whether Change Healthcare properly protected patient data.
Jury deliberations resumed today in the trial of James Crumbly, the father of the Michigan teen who shot and killed 4 students at his high school in 2021. The jury is deciding whether Crumbly should face the same punishment as his wife for allegedly enabling their son to carry out the attack. Last month, Jennifer Crumbly became the first parent in the U.S. ever convicted for their child's role in a mass school shooting.
The big question today is, could TikTok eventually be banned in the U.S.? Yesterday, House lawmakers approved a bill that could potentially lead to a ban of the app. It now heads to the Senate, but it's uncertain whether it will pass or not. If passed, it would lead to a nationwide ban of the video app. President Biden says he would sign it into law if it makes it to his desk.
If you've seen your car insurance rates skyrocket recently, you're not alone. They're up an average of 21%. That's the highest rate jump since 1976. Part of the reason why rates are going up are due to the increased cost for car repairs. The number of traffic deaths in the U.S. is also rising.
Upwards of 6 million homeowners in the U.S. don't have home insurance. That's according to a new study from the Consumer Federation of America that raises an extreme risk of uninsured losses from a natural disaster or significant home damage. The study found that uninsured property make up 7.4% of all properties in the nation.
Drug maker Eli Lilly is teaming up with Amazon to deliver prescriptions straight to patients. Customers using Eli Lilly's service, called Lilly Direct, will soon get prescriptions for everything from migraine medication to weight loss drugs at Bound through their Amazon pharmacy or the online pharmacy TruePill.
About 1,000 Family Dollar locations will be closing down. That news comes from Dollar Tree, which bought its rival nearly a decade ago. More than half of the closures will come in the next few months. Many Family Dollar stores have been plagued by health and safety concerns, and this year was hit with a record $41.5 million fine for violating product safety standards.
The Yeezy fiasco from 2022 has helped push Adidas to a rare annual loss. In October of 2022, Adidas broke off its partnership with Yeezy designer Kanye West after he made a string of anti-Semitic remarks. But the fallout from the costly breakup wasn't the only factor. Adidas has also seen falling North American sales and a huge tax bill.
YouTube is redesigning its TV app so that users can watch videos while browsing comments and other information. The video window will take up about 2/3 of the screen. The other third can display things like alternate views, stats, and scores. And that's today's 9 at 9.
In your morning headlines, it was more than just an open flame pizza oven and a chance to fly in an aisle or window seat without someone in the middle seat.
Plus, a tribute to the man in the iron lung. Here is David Sears. Good morning, David.
Morning.
Talk about an inspirational story.
Yeah.
That's a
Right.
good one. We'll get to that in a second. Let's start with this. The owners of a pizza restaurant, watch this. Look out. Whoa.
Ooh.
That pizza oven exploded right when he was trying to light that pilot light. It happened this past Sunday in San Angelo. The manager who usually opens the restaurant was off that day, so owner Fernando Fuentes went in and noticed the restaurant was cold, so he lit the pilot but wasn't expecting the pizza oven to just blow up. He suffered minor burns all over his hand and his arm, all the way up to his armpit, lost his eyebrows, but he was lucky it wasn't worse. He said the flames were so intense, he thought he was on fire.
And I watched that video, and it's terrifying. I mean, like I said, I thought there was more to it than what should have happened, and because I'm just counting my blessings, and an angel was with me. And God, Jesus was right there beside me and pushed me out of the way.
Absolutely incredible. The cause of the explosion, now believed to be a gas bubble that can't be seen, heard, or even smelled. Fuentes says he is working on new safety protocols to make sure this never happens again. If you hate being crammed into that middle seat while you're flying and need some extra room, or you just don't like somebody sitting in the middle seat next to you, Frontier Airlines is rolling out an upgrade for passengers to have that middle seat next to them empty. It's called Upfront Plus. The new upgrade seating option, it's not free. It starts at $49 and will provide extra leg room and guaranteed empty middle seat for customers sitting in the window or aisle seats. The promotion applies to flights leaving starting April 10th. Upgrades will only be available through April 30th. If it sounds like something you are interested in, you better get on it quick. Flights must be purchased by March 20th, which is next Wednesday. In 1952, more than 21,000 paralyzing polio cases were reported. A Dallas native, Paul Alexander, was one of the most famous survivors. He passed away this week after spending more than 70 years inside of an iron lung. He was 78 years old. Paul inspired millions across the country and the world without ever needing to leave the machine he's called the Yellow Submarine. He was only 6 years old when he was diagnosed with polio. He then became paralyzed from the neck down, spent 2 years in the hospital, living inside the century-old piece of technology that helped his body breathe. But that didn't stop him from accomplishing a whole lot in his life. How about this? He graduated from law school at the University of Texas, practiced law for 3 decades, eventually wrote a memoir pushing individual keys with a pen in his mouth. He also joined TikTok back in January, immediately became a viral sensation. In the last 3 weeks, Paul contracted COVID and a stomach virus and was in and out of the hospital. He could barely keep food down, but during the last week of his life, his younger brother Philip spoiled him with crab, ribs, and a pint of Haagen-Dazs chocolate ice cream.
You know, at one point, it made my life. He looked up at me and said, "We are perfect."
You adapt and you learn to do what you need to do to accomplish your goals and your dreams.
Talk about a hero and an inspiration to millions across the world. In the past year, Guinness World Records also named Paul the longest surviving iron lung patient in the world. Incredible story.
It's amazing.
His legacy is going to live on for a long time.
Oh, no doubt. I was just reading an article about him just in the last week or so. So what a coincidence. And he will be missed.
Yes, he will.
Thank you, David. Right now we're at 9:09, 72 degrees, still ahead on GMSA at 9.
Residents in the Westwood Square neighborhood have had a difficult time getting San Antonio police to do something about speeding on Castroville Road, but now action has been taken and they hope it leads to more safety improvements. It's part of our Know My Neighborhood series.
It's a very busy road corridor.
Need protection, our elderly need protection, so do our kids. And I do thank KSAT 12 for that, because if not, we wouldn't have gotten anything.
Plus, our SA Live crew sent one of their producers to South by Southwest to attend several red carpet premieres this week. A look at some of the films featured when we come back.
Taking a look outside with live cam, it is warm, it is muggy out there. But Mike says some much needed rain and then a cold front on the way, Mike.
Yeah, all these things together, and unlike recent cold fronts where it's pretty much, gotten rid of the humidity and last weekend pulled down those colder temperatures, it will get cooler somewhat, but we have got a nice stretch of rain coming on in here, and yeah, it's looking like it's just going to be pretty much a wet weekend. So take a look outside right now, and this is
is that Timmy's picture?
Yes, Tim Stewart, our editor, and I love the caption. It says, "Say you're from Texas," without saying you're from Texas.
That's awesome.
Bluebonnets and cactus.
Hard flex.
Great caption.
Sums it up. And I think this was up north on 281. I believe Tim just said that to me. I short-term memory, but I said, yeah, just bluebonnets everywhere. So if you want to take a drive up there, it is murky looking. We haven't had a lot of fog earlier this morning, but we started getting more just because the wind kind of settled down just a little bit. And there may be some mist out there. Pretty much cloudy throughout the rest of the morning. There may be a couple of peaks of sunshine today. Limited at best. And then there's that 10% for a stray little sprinkly shower, just because, again, the wind is coming out of the southeast, continuing to pull that moisture in there, and it may just get squeezed out in the form of a little sprinkle. Then as we go into the evening hours, a little bit better chance for some rain, but especially once we get overnight. So here's the computer model for the rest of today. Again, maybe a few little sprinkles here and there, perhaps a hole in the clouds, one or two of them. We get into tonight, a few more showers trying to develop, but then in the overnight hours is when the coverage is going to start to increase. Definitely a lot of the area will see some light rain in the morning and maybe even a couple of thunderstorms by, say, around drive time out there in portions of the hill country. Although I think anything strong is going to be pretty much further to the north and then really not showing up until later on in the afternoon. Some of these cells, because we're going to have all the atmosphere is very, very volatile tomorrow. All the numbers that kind of measuring the atmosphere they're almost off the charts for tomorrow. So that's what we're going to have to look out for, especially high winds and large hail is going to be a threat tomorrow. Front moves on through here, a few showers, a little bit of a break in the action. Then it starts to really pick back up again on Saturday. And Saturday right now is looking like the wettest day, but that's going to carry over into Sunday. So here's what it looks like in the overnight. This would be late tonight, early tomorrow morning. Again, the small threat for anything severe would be further up to the north. And then that severe threat covers pretty much all of the area, just an isolated 1 or 2, and that gets bumped up to a 2 on a scale of 1 to 5 from San Antonio, pretty much in the northeastern, say, quadrant or northeastern third of our area. Again, those high winds and large hail are going to be the biggest threats. Now, let's jump ahead. We saw the rain coming in here through Saturday with one model. Here's the long-range model. We still have more showers around here on Sunday. Again, this is not going to be raining constantly nor everywhere all the time, but I mean, this is one of the best forecasts we've seen around here in a long time. Bit of a break in the action, but still a few showers around on Monday. Tuesday, roughly the same situation. And then even another shot of some rain coming on in here as we go into the middle portion of the week. Plus, with all this cloud cover around here, that's going to help to keep temperatures on the lower side. So today, 80. Couple of peaks of sunshine, not as hot as yesterday's 88, and then boy, that humidity too. Then tomorrow, well, overnight tonight, I should say, and early tomorrow, have showers around here. Plan on leaving maybe a little extra early in the morning tomorrow. Thunderstorms throughout the day. 1 or 2 of those are going to be on the strong, severe side. We get the front moving on through here. Knocks temperatures back down a little bit below normal over the weekend, and rain, especially on Saturday. Then look at that, how temperatures stay even cooler by Tuesday and Wednesday. I think the best shots of rain right now are going to be Saturday into tomorrow, also in the afternoon, but Saturday, early on Sunday, and then once again on Wednesday, we're going to be seeing some of that rain as well. So great looking forecast. Sarah, Mark?
Thank you, Mike. If you've seen our show the past couple of days, you might have seen our coverage of South by Southwest up in Austin. Lee Waldman was there for us, but SA Live also sent a team member up there for the big festival.
So they sent one of their producers, John Marr, to several red carpet premieres this week, and here's a sneak peek of what to look out for.
There must be 30 dead scientists in the past month. Christ, another countdown.
I played Jin Chang. She's a genius of her generation, a particle physicist, and she is one of the Oxford Five who are also geniuses who are pushing ahead to solve the mysteries that humanity is facing at the moment.
You know, we built this world with the VFX, and then there's so many sort of site-specific places where they just kick the doors down and they let them film there. And so we had a real sense of reality in where we were filming as well. So, you know, apart from sometimes I kind of sort of call it as like science fiction, you know, sometimes. So, yeah, it's been a wonderful project to be a part of. Yeah.
What drew you to this project specifically?
Well, the script, first and foremost, Tom Bateman's script, and of course Daisy Ridley was an enormous attraction, but the themes of the film really spoke to me, and it just felt like a page-turner that I just really wanted to get my hands on.
I was on set with a little girl playing my daughter, and I just thought how strange it is. On film sets we have these intense relationships, and she knew that I, of course, wasn't her parent, but at work she's calling me mummy, and we're building a relationship. So it came from that, of the lines being, the original idea was the lines being blurred with an actress trying to infiltrate a family.
Can you talk to me about your character, Bob Trevino?
Yeah, Bob Trevino was based on the true story of the director, writer right there, Tracy. That she was, you know, she meets her father on Facebook, but it's not really her father. She meets the wrong guy, but they have a better relationship.
So you work closely with John Leguizamo on this film. What was it like being so close to, like, interacting with him on this film?
Well, John's incredible. I've been like such a huge fan for so long, and it's always really cool to work with people that I look up to, because it's like I learn so much, and you know, I get to play in different ways, and everyone's energy is so different. So with John, it was just so cool to like have this icon to have these scenes with, and and all these emotional and funny and just incredible, like very tender scenes with him. It was just incredible.
This film centers around a mother-daughter relationship. Can you talk to me about women in film and representation for women in film and why that's important?
Maybe in 100 years that won't be a question. A human story is valuable as any other human, whether you're white, black, brown, cat, dog, purple, green.
So you're kind of known for your comedy. Did you get to let that out at all in this film? Be a little silly?
I think this is it's a dramatic film. It's a dramedy. There's comedy in there, but if it's funny, it's because of the human experience, not because I'm trying to be funny.
The movie is hysterical and tragic and, and all the things you love from entertainment. But it really, to me, the wonderful importance of it is it creates a link between the human experience and the animal experience. And Sasquatches, by their very nature, represent that link. And so this movie, I think, will connect people, maybe even unconsciously, to like a greater connection to nature and animals, because that's what Sasquatches are. They're the link between the human beings and the animal experience.
You can watch this story again on our SA Live's website. Just scan. Oh, we don't have that QR code. Well, you can go to salive.com. There's the QR code.
We'll leave it up a few seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
There it
9:22, 71 degrees on your Thursday.
When we come back, a look at the latest musician featured in our SA Vibes Showcase.
Just grab yourself and go. Try not to let it show, 'cause we'll be okay.
The second installment of SA Vibes is out now. It features talented singer-songwriter Caroline Hale performing 3 songs off her debut album entitled BFF.
SA Vibes is KSAT's local music showcase featuring a musical artist or band every month. It's available to watch now on all of KSAT's digital platforms. Just scan the QR code to take you to Caroline's performance from the KSAT Garden.
The Tejano Music Awards Fanfare. Kicking off in Hemisphere in downtown San Antonio, the festival is known for being one of the biggest weekends in Tejano music. It's happening today through Sunday and will be live. There'll be live music from more than 150 Tejano and Conjunto artists across 4 stages.
This is the first time it will be held at Hemisphere. The family-friendly event is free and open to the public. Lawn chairs are allowed. The festival opens at noon and ends 11:30 p.m. each day. We have all that info over at KSAT.com.
It's 9:26 and 72 degrees.
More to come on GMSA, including some steps in the right direction to help with speeding issues along San Antonio's Castroville Road.
And the well-known MLK mural along North New Braunfels has come down as East Side residents await to see what artwork will take its place. Taking a look outside with live cam, 72 degrees, warm, muggy out there, and it's like the clouds, Mike, are just waiting for that rain.
Yeah, good way to put it, yeah. And I was also going to say, we're not seeing any sunshine, and don't count on seeing a lot, if any, sunshine for, at least the next 5-6 days or so in through the middle part of next week. So we've got a lot of humidity out there. Of course, that was very high yesterday, which made that 88 degrees really feel just too darn hot. 72 right now, been holding steady all morning long. Dew points at 67, so there's a bunch of humidity. You get above 60 like that and you really feel it. We haven't had a lot of fog this morning. Earlier we had a pretty good breeze going on and the wind has settled slightly, so we are starting to see some of these patches of fog, especially just north of New Braunfels, heading up in towards San Marcos. So just kind of keep an eye on that. We're not really seeing anything too pea soup as far as fog is concerned, but also with all the moisture continuing to get pumped on in here, we may see a little bit of kind of some mist and drizzle, even a light sprinkly shower throughout the day. Upper 60s, low 70s around here. Oh, more than doubled from yesterday. Moderate amounts of everything else out there. And throughout the day, we're going to make it up to 75. Again, a peak of sunshine here or there. That may be a little bit optimistic. 80 high temperature, again, a sprinkly shower, but then rain chances, those clouds are going to finally open up somewhat late tonight in the overnight hours. And then we got some really one of the best forecasts as far as rain is concerned we've seen around here in a long time. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Sarah, Mark.
Thank you, Mike. Screaming and crying through the walls. That is what a neighbor told a Bexar County jury he heard in his home months before 5-year-old Mercedes Lasoya died. Jose Ruiz, the mother's boyfriend, is accused of killing the little San Antonio girl. He's on trial this week. Prosecutors say Mercedes died from extreme physical abuse and torture that lasted for weeks. In court yesterday, a neighbor who lived below Ruiz told the jury he called 911 multiple times for noise complaints and after hearing a child crying.
The intensity, like the wailing and how severely the child was crying, and the duration was very prolonged.
And while she was crying, did you ever hear her say any words with it?
Not words, just ow, ow, ow.
That neighbor called 911 in November and again in December of 2021, just a few months before Mercedes died. Bexar County jurors will hear more testimony this morning when court resumes in a little less than an hour.
Erica Hernandez is covering the case for us, and we'll have updates in our later newscast. We will also live stream this trial, so you can watch it live on KSAT.com, KSAT's YouTube page, and KSAT Plus.
Now to a Know My Neighborhood update. People living in the Westwood Square neighborhood say speeding cars have been a big problem over on Castroville Road.
So we highlighted their safety concern as part of our Know My Neighborhood episode back in October. And it took them months to get San Antonio police to install this radar trailer.
Now, the neighbors say they also had issues getting data until our Daniela Ibarra requested it from the city. As she explains, it shows at least 1 out of 5 cars was speeding.
Castroville Road can get dangerous. Vilma Peña drives on it all the time.
It's a very busy road corridor.
Her neighbor, Jesusita Rios, says it's why they pushed for a study on speeding cars.
Protection, our elderly need protection, so do our kids.
San Antonio police temporarily installed this radar trailer in November. Officer Nick Solis told us then it's meant to remind drivers to slow down and follow the 35-mile-an-hour speed limit.
They're not necessarily trapping people. It's more for the public to see that we're trying, and hearing their concerns and voices.
Rios and Peña wanted to see the data the trailer collected for themselves.
We've wanted to see the written report, and we've asked for it several times already. And so we've been waiting quite a while.
After 4 months of waiting, they finally saw the survey report this week. We got copies of it through an open records request.
And I do thank KSAT 12 for that, because if not, we wouldn't have gotten anything.
This report breaks down 2 weeks worth of data here on Castroville Road. It shows between 21 to 25% of cars went above the 35-mile-an-hour speed limit.
I thought that was a high number. That is a high number for me. Even 10% to me is a high number.
The data shows 2% of cars were excessively speeding. The report shows one car hit speeds of 101 miles an hour.
Data tells me again that it's we have a high volume, different speeds at different times.
Peña says she wants to know how school zones and crosswalks play into the data. She and Rios hope the report leads to safety improvements.
Speeding is speeding. So I'm just looking at the overall picture. So again, I want that conversation to take place with SAPD to see, okay, how do you gauge this exactly?
SAPD says this data is just a small part about the traffic safety conversation here in the neighborhood. They say they're working on meeting with District 5 to talk about it. In Westwood Square, Daniela Ibarra, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Daniela. Teacher burnout, something we hear about a lot. And according to the Texas American Federation of Teachers Union, more teachers here in Texas are ready to call it quits.
The newly released survey revealed more about how teachers here in Texas are really doing. Our Patty Santos dug into those results and spoke with one teacher about how she supports herself and how long she sees herself in the field.
Where are you taking us?
Taking us for a cruise?
Monday through Friday, Teresa Rosso teaches dual language pre-K.
What time does your day start? I get at my work around 7:20, but I don't clock in until 7:45. And my day ends at 3:45. I clock out at 3:45. And then? I take myself a 15-minute break, and then at 4 o'clock, I clock in at Uber.
Weekdays at 4 o'clock and on weekends, as Rosso becomes a rideshare driver.
My income as a teacher is not enough.
That's because inflation, rent, and medical expenses don't leave enough for extras, she says.
As a matter of fact, extras. I had a flat tire on Sunday. I had a flat tire and there was an expense that I was not counting on. So I had to buy a tire.
She's not alone. The Texas American Federation of Teachers Union found roughly 70% of 6,000 teachers surveyed this year have considered leaving the job, while nearly 75% are burned out, both up slightly from last year. The survey also found 1 out of 5 teachers has a second job after school.
When asked what would keep you in the profession, almost 73% said higher salary and a manageable workload.
Texas AFT Secretary Treasurer Wanda Longoria says retention bonuses and districts mitigating teacher workload helps. But she says educators can't hold on much longer without a pay raise.
We're doing what we can with what we have, and it's not much.
Rosso says she took the survey and counts herself among the burned out teachers, now considering her options.
Do you think you will be there next year to teach again? I see myself being in this profession maybe 2 more years, maybe.
Patty Santos, KSAT 12 News.
If you're driving along North New Braunfels Avenue near I-35, you might notice a mural honoring the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King has been removed. The sun-bleached painting has seen better days, and District 2 Councilman Jalen McKee Rodriguez said he was fulfilling the wishes of his constituents, calling for a mural makeover.
They put it up, it was bright and beautiful. Had all hands, all colors of hands. It's not like that anymore.
I'm so used to that. I've been here so long that I guess I wouldn't really want it to change much.
The painting was installed in 1997 and done by artists working with an organization called San Anto Cultural Arts. And while it is out with the old, it may not be in with the new for a while. We're told whatever artwork replaces the old mural will be decided through a contest.
We'll keep you updated. Right now, 9:39, 73 degrees. You're watching GMSA at 9.
When we come back, how some counties around Texas, they're preparing for an influx of visitors for the total solar eclipse coming up in a few weeks.
We have been talking a lot about the total solar eclipse coming up. In full disclosure, we're going to keep talking about it a lot until the big day finally arrives.
I mean, this is a big deal. So you've probably heard the Hill Country is going to have some of the best spots to view the eclipse. And with an increase in visitors expected, some counties are preemptively declaring a disaster.
That might sound really bad, but local businesses tell KSAT's Garrett Berger they're expecting anything but a disaster.
All eyes will be on the sky April 8th. But some in Bernie have been looking to that day a lot longer.
It was on our calendar last year, to be honest with you.
When the eclipse hits that afternoon, Bernie will be in the path of totality, meaning the sun will be completely blocked for about 3.5 minutes. Leaders think the city and Kendall County's populations could double on what would otherwise be a quiet Monday.
They're coming from all over the country, presumably from all over the world.
Officials think some of their visitors could be people who were actually aiming for further into the Hill Country, but then just had to pull over if they wanted to catch the eclipse.
The expected crowds prompted Kendall County to declare a disaster. The county judge says the declaration means they could get preference if they ask for state resources, like more cops, and it could help get them money afterward if there's any resulting destruction.
So it basically is an insurance policy for some of the unknowns that could happen.
The biggest thing to expect is traffic. While people are expected to begin arriving the later part of the week before, Monday will be the big day.
We're telling folks, whether you live here or you're visiting, plan to spend the day here in Bernie, because if you leave as soon as the eclipse is done, you're just going to sit in traffic.
But a darkened sky means sunny prospects for some local businesses. We're hoping that dollars will flow in with the visitors.
We made about $10,000 for the day, which was really good.
That was the last eclipse?
The last eclipse.
The local brewery is planning for a weekend-long event and is even making a special beer, though it hasn't settled on the name yet.
Hops of totality, that kind of thing.
By Tuesday, April 9th, the city's expected to be back to normal, so the businesses will need to make hay while the sun's not shining. Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
So here are the counties in Texas that have declared a disaster ahead of the eclipse. In our area, Kendall and Kerr counties, and then up in Austin, Travis and Bell County have issued disaster declarations as well.
And for a look at all of our eclipse coverage, scan this QR code on your screen with your phone. It'll take you directly to our website where you'll find this story we just showcased you, as well as our previous eclipse stories. You can also find an interactive map that lets you see if you are in the path of totality. I am not. The map lets you, I learned, the map lets you zoom in onto your neighborhood and type in your address to see if you're able to witness the event from your home. Mike, it's really if you live more on the northwest side.
Yeah, out in toward, say, like La Cantera and everything. And just remember, we got to emphasize eclipse glasses. When it's in its totality, if you're in that area, you can take your glasses off to see it. But while it's getting there and then afterwards, you got to put them back on as it's in its partial phases on each side of that. And, you talk about those disaster declarations. It's like, we don't do runs on toilet paper and water and stuff like that. But, maybe if you need gas, get it on the Wednesday beforehand or something like that. So,
trip.
Yeah, since there's going to be so many people in town here, so
sure.
Hopefully they're watching when they're here. So anyway, hey, speaking of the eclipse, of course, the moon is a big player in that. And here's the waxing crescent moon. Great picture. Thank you for that. And it's going to be full on the 25th, and then a couple of weeks after that is the new moon. So that'll be the last full moon on the 25th before the eclipse. And you can't have you have an eclipse, a solar eclipse, when the moon is in its new phase. Lunar eclipses are when the moon is in its full phase. Good thing it's not today, because we get just socked in with clouds out there. We've got this huge upper level low, which is parked off to the west of us. And this is the one, even about a week or so ago, we kept seeing long range models having this thing here. And it is not going anywhere. And it's in a good position for us as far as keeping all of this moisture coming in here upstairs in the atmosphere, and then it's going to start to throw in energy in our direction. So that's going to mix with all the humidity around here and give us those rain chances. Now, during the day on Friday, we do have a surface front underneath this. It's coming on through here, so we'll have some cooler air down here at the surface, but we keep this overrunning situation around here, and with the disturbances moving on through, that's what's going to keep the rain around, not only Friday, but Saturday night into Sunday. And again, that thing just does not move at all. And in this case, I think it's kind of a welcome house guest that's going to overstay its welcome, because it's going to keep some rain around here. We'll at least have those rain chances for that extended period, which is going to be nice. So hopefully it gets a good chance to really soak in and not just run off. There may be a couple of heavier downpours obviously mixed in here and there. And again, even through, as it's looking right now, Wednesday, we are still going to keep some of that rain around. Today, not much, a couple of showers here and there, but again, then overnight, things start to fill in. We may have even a couple of good rumbles of thunder. Sarah Spivey and I were just talking about this, but doesn't look like anything severe in the morning hours. That would be primarily well up there to the north, but then throughout the afternoon, when we start to see more of these showers and thunderstorms firing up around here, and especially along the front, that's when things could get on the strong to possibly severe side. Then we go into Saturday and notice how more rain starts to move in here and work its way on in. So this is what it looks like late tonight, early tomorrow is going to be the chance for a severe storm up to the north. Then throughout the day tomorrow is when that gets ramped up. And the threat is going to be primarily with large hail. That will be the biggest threat with that, and winds. Now, as far as flooding, again, a couple of heavier downpours here and there. Perhaps, there's always that outside chance for a small little spin-up tornado. But again, the biggest threats tomorrow are going to be in the afternoon are going to be hail, and then again high winds with that. So forecast is going to go like this. We've got 80 degrees today. There could be a couple of peaks of sunshine out there and a little sprinkly shower. Then rain develops overnight. Wet commute tomorrow, a couple of stronger storms throughout the day tomorrow, and that front moves on through here. We'll still make it up to 78 tomorrow, and then just a couple of degrees below normal on Saturday, Sunday. Best chance of rain Saturday, and also early on Sunday, and that will continue going into next week. And look, it gets even chillier. I mean, we're almost talking like grilled cheese and soup weather by Tuesday as well as on Wednesday, with those highs only at 59 degrees. So again, you know, we started off the year really nice with rain, been dry way too long now. Come on, rain, and a good stretch of it too. So it's going to be great.
Looking good.
Yeah, looking fantastic.
I can't wait for that rain. I have so many like fresh seedlings and vegetable gardens and seedlings for wildflowers.
My grass was going gangbusters for a while, and now it's just like,
mine's starting to yellow off, and I was like, it was the Shire 2 weeks ago.
The Shire, that's
some
funny.
rain.
Okay, right now it's 9:50, 71 degrees.
Okay, we know the zoo. It is a hot spot. Well, not really. I mean, the crowd's there, hot spot, but the whooping cranes, they're not feeling so hot. They're really not. I see maybe 2 on the screen.
That's what I count.
Hey, but we know a lot of people visiting the zoo for spring break for that staycation. On KSAT.com, we have a breakdown of all their reroutes and parking. Just visit KSAT.com for all that information. Today is the day Swifties have been waiting for. Mike's really pumped about it. The release of the Eras Tour on Disney Plus, and there's some bonus content that fans haven't seen before.
You hear that, Mike?
Unless you saw it in concert like me.
Right, bonus content.
Okay.
Okay. Plus, Mark Wahlberg reveals what it was like filming a scary scene in his new movie. CNN's David Daniel had those stories and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
Sequin smile, black lipstick, sensual politics. When you are young, they assume you know nothing.
If you didn't see Taylor Swift's Eras Tour live, you haven't seen this. Cardigan and other performances cut from the theatrical and home video versions of the concert are now available on the Apple App Store. There are also bonus content on the version of Taylor Swift The Eras Tour, now streaming on Disney+.
You have your trolley? Yeah. We sure about this? Oh, it's adventure racing, right?
I don't know, guys. This looks pretty unsafe to me.
Playing extreme adventure racers in Arthur the King put Mark Wahlberg and co-stars in some interesting situations, including an ancient-looking zip line.
You're a couple of 100 feet in the air, and it looks pretty old and rickety, and I don't think, we certainly didn't build it and age it. So it was one of those things where I was like, why am I doing this? My wife would kill me right now.
This is beautiful!
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
In other entertainment news, the CMT Awards announced its Music Award nominees. This year's nominees include Kelsey Ballerini, who's also hosting the event, alongside Jelly Roll, Reba, Dan and Shay, and Casey Musgraves.
Her Jelly Roll was one of the most popular people to take pictures with at awards and stuff. 5 artists, Cody Johnson, Jelly Roll, Kelsey Ballerini, and Lainey Wilson, and Megan Moroney, each have 3 nominations for country music's first fan-voted award show. Fans can pick their favorites now online at CMT.com. This year's CMT Awards show will be in Austin. That's cool. On Sunday, April 7th.
Watch out for just a little bit of fog around the area this morning, maybe a sprinkle today, and then, of course, we're going to have some rain overnight tonight and throughout the day tomorrow, some stronger storms, so we'll be here.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, sir. Thanks so much for watching. Join Sarah at noon.
See you at noon.